We had been together for 5 years before I finally proposed. To the outside world, we were the kind of couple people pointed at and said, "That's real love." We laughed at the same dumb jokes, finished each other's sentences like some cheesy romantic comedy, and had our entire future mapped out, right down to the shade of paint for our kitchen cabinets. I trusted her with every part of myself, never once doubting that she felt the same. The day I got down on one knee, she burst into tears and said yes without hesitation. Her reaction was so pure, so genuine, or so I thought. I had no reason to suspect a thing. But behind her tears, behind that sparkling ring and picture-perfect smile, was a truth I wouldn't uncover until much later, something that had already cracked the foundation of everything we were building together. A few months before the wedding, her behavior started to shift just slightly. She became more distant in quiet, subtle ways. Her phone never left her hand. Her screen always tilted just enough so I couldn't see. She started dressing up more, lipstick for errands, full outfits for grocery runs. I noticed, but I didn't ask. I didn't want to be that insecure fiancé reading too much into everything. I chalked it up to wedding nerves and pre-wedding excitement. I told myself not to overthink it. I trusted her. The day of the wedding was breathtaking, an outdoor ceremony wrapped in warm sunlight and fairy lights. Our family smiled, our friends cheered, and I stood at the altar watching her walk toward me in white, believing I was the luckiest man on earth. Her eyes locked on mine, steady and glowing, and not for a single second did I think she was hiding something. The whole day felt like magic, like a dream we both waited our entire lives to live. 3 months into our marriage, I was sitting on the couch one evening, trying to find vacation photos on her old iPad, something she hadn't used in a while. She had recently changed the password on her phone, but I thought nothing of it. We'd always shared everything. But when I opened the gallery, something unexpected appeared. A group chat was still active. She hadn't logged out. It wasn't snooping. I hadn't been searching for secrets. But the second my eyes landed on the messages, my stomach dropped. The conversation was dated just 2 weeks before our wedding. It was her and her 2 closest friends talking about a night out. One message stopped me cold. She had slept with a guy for her office during her bachelorette party. She described it as a mistake, said it didn't mean anything, blamed it on nerves and too much alcohol. One friend had urged her to tell me, but she responded with a sentence that felt like it tore through my chest. It didn't mean anything. I can't ruin everything now. My hands went cold. My heart, my breath, everything in me just paused. That night, I stared at the iPad for hours, reading the conversation over and over like maybe the words would change. But they didn't. The betrayal was clear. The worst part? She made a conscious choice not to tell me, to let me go through with the wedding, knowing the truth would break me. For the next week, I said nothing. I needed time to think, to breathe, to somehow keep my heart from imploding. I slept beside her, smiled at dinner, responded to her texts, all while my mind was on fire. I kept replaying our vows, her face at the altar, the dance under the lights. I had promised my life to someone who had already betrayed it. She had let me stand there, with nothing but blind love in my heart, while she kept a secret that unraveled everything we were. When I finally sat her down, she could feel something was off. She asked what was wrong, her voice cautious. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply asked her to tell me the truth. She tried to play it off, claimed I must have misunderstood. But then I showed her the screenshots. Her face drained of color. Fear flickered across her expression, followed by a deep, crumbling shame. She collapsed into tears, sobbing that she never meant to hurt me, that it was the biggest mistake of her life, that she was drunk, confused, and didn't want to throw away everything we had. She swore it was a one-time thing, that she loved me, that she had been planning to tell me. Someday, but it was too late. You can't build a life on a lie and expect it to stand. That night I left. I didn't pack much, just a bag of essentials. I had no destination in mind. I just knew I couldn't breathe inside that house anymore. It felt like a graveyard of who I used to be. She called. She texted. I ignored most of it. I needed space to mourn what we never truly had. 2 weeks later, we met one last time. I let her talk. She apologized again, offered therapy, made promises about being honest from now on. But something in me had changed. I looked at her and said, I still love the person I thought you were, but that person doesn't exist. She cried hard at that. I think that's when it truly hit her, what she'd done and what she'd lost. We divorced quietly 6 months later. No messy courtroom battles. No screaming matches. Just signatures and silence. To the people around us, it made no sense. They couldn't understand how two people who seemed so perfect fell apart so fast. I never told anyone the full truth, not out of mercy for her, but because I didn't need to. I wasn't going to become the man who weaponized her mistake to win sympathy. That wasn't who I was. Now, a year later, I'm still healing. A little more guarded, a little more careful, but stronger. I've learned betrayal doesn't always wear horns and fangs. Sometimes it comes dressed in a wedding gown, smiling while it hides a knife. And the hardest part of betrayal isn't the act itself. It's the realization that the person you handed your heart to never truly understood its worth.